All right, hello, and welcome to another Expert Inside interview. My name is John Golden from SalesPOP, online sales magazine, and Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from a sunny San Diego. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Jon Mest, who is in St. Pete, Florida. How are you doing, John?
Excellent. How are you doing today, John?
Yeah, and John is a data scientist by training, a salesperson by accident, and loves working with customers. Highly technical person, can also speak to humans, which is good because until I get replaced by AI, I'm still a human interviewer. Today, John is the CEO of Just Reach Out and co-founder of ChatRank. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is particularly on the ChatRank side, chatrank.ai, about AI search visibility, because John, this is becoming more of an issue, and I find a lot of people are very much struggling with this whole concept because they've invested so much money in SEO for Google and all of that kind of stuff, and while that is complicated enough and changing enough, kind of people feel like they have some kind of idea around it. AI search has just completely thrown them.
Absolutely. It threw us for a loop last summer. So I'll give you the quick story.
Mhm.
So as you mentioned, we own and operate Just Reach Out. It's a digital PR service, media outreach, helping you get booked on podcasts, get booked on into interviews and blogs and things like that. We eat our own dog food in digital PR world. We do very well for SEO. We rank extremely well for our core search terms. We also pay for Google ads. We were really trying to bring an inbound channel to our SaaS product. Now, last summer, what happened was Google stopped spending my money. And I couldn't believe it because Google loves spending my money. And it was because basically they buried my ad underneath a large AI overview on all of our core search terms. So we were sitting last summer being like, uh-oh, like where is our traffic going? How are we going to overcome this? Well, this AI overview, this seems to be free. Like I feel like if I can find a way into this, that's the unlock for us. Led us on our journey. We kind of back engineered like how to get into that AI overview, led us into a world of ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude and all these different LLMs, and basically built it for ourselves. And so that was how we kind of built this product. It was kind of an accident. We learned how to work really well to get our brand ranking well in the AI models and LLMs for Just Reach Out, and then turned that into a product called ChatRank. And that's kind of really what brought us here today. So I guess to your users who might be thinking about like, this is a problem, like we were in your shoes not long ago, and I promise you there's a way out of this.
Excellent, excellent. So, what are the key differentiations between, or differences between, optimizing for like traditional SEO and optimizing for AI search?
Yeah, I mean, there's two core things. One of it's more like quantitative in nature, which is that the way Google ranks, so that I should any search, but primarily Google with 97% of search, like how they think about things is, do you have authority given to you by others?
Mhm.
Backlinks. Like, is the New York Times telling you that you're authoritative? Great. Then if they think you're good, then we think you're good. And it's a kind of a big network of
Yeah.
authority that way. Now, in the world of answer engines, which is kind of the way that these LLMs act, they don't really care who has told you what. What they care about is, did you say the right information? Do you have valuable information? Does it check out against everybody else's sources? But do you give more like details? Do you provide more kind of insights into what works, what doesn't? Do you have examples? Do you have social proof through things like Reddit or Quora or like YouTube comments? Or is your social media profiles good? All those things kind of play together into trusting you as a source rather than just the Google backlink algorithm, which has kind of been this thing for so long.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of the main like quantitative, the main difference here is just like understanding how to play to these answer engines is different than kind of how it works with Google. So those who say traditional SEO is dead or wrong, like a good solid blog, having good quality content is always going to be like strong and important. But
Mhm.
really it's about understanding how to structure that content, how to make sure it's like readable by the AI models and the LLMs as well as by humans. Like all that kind of stuff plays into it. And so there is a kind of a method to this, and it's evolving and changing every day. Don't get me wrong, but our customers really love it because we really do kind of show you how to kind of break the code and learn how to kind of optimize your content for AI.
Yeah, and you just mentioned there, you mentioned a couple of sites like Reddit and Quora. I think to talk to you a little bit, because I mean, a lot of companies, let's be honest, don't spend much time on Reddit or Quora or Medium, or most companies do LinkedIn, but that's about it. So, talk to me about, why is it important to look at these platforms, and what's the best way of like starting to engage with them?
Yeah, so I mean, it's no surprise Google is paying, I mean, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars to Reddit now, kind of publicly at this point, for access to their content information, because the idea of social proof, the idea of people kind of agreeing, upvoting, and understanding things like that is so valuable to information sharing, information in general. they kind of almost told themselves like people crack the code on Google algorithm, and you can kind of like either buy your way up or kind of earn your way up to like the top result in Google. And so
Mhm.
when it comes to actually finding the best answers, these kinds of like you can't really buy them type situations like a Reddit or a Quora, like is really kind of the way to provide that authoritative information and share like information about your brand or whatever it is you're trying to promote. And so the most tangible piece of advice I can give to anybody is just get started. Find out,
Mhm.
go out there and like see if there's a way to write a Medium post that would be interesting to your users. Find a way if there is a way to kind of find and identify, different subreddits that might be interested in learning more about different tools. And don't be salesy. Don't like kind of go out there and just promote yourself because they'll see right through that. They'll delete your comments. That's not what they're interested in. It's really about like, are you providing insights, information? Are you showing why people are having certain like reactions? Are your customers succeeding and why? Like that kind of stuff really does add value. Same reason why things like TripAdvisor and Yelp are still so important for B2C businesses, and
Yeah.
G2 are so important to like the software businesses. It all matters, and so even more so to the AI models who are kind of looking for that additional way to provide authority and give you social proof beyond just the traditional, hey, did this so and so publication like a Forbes backlink to your site.
Gotcha. And then what about from a website optimization? What kind of content does really works for AI search? What are they looking for? What's the best format for content?
So there's like some structure and markup things you can be doing to ensure that your stuff is good. I mean, there's a lot of noise out there, I'll be honest, and like some of it's decent, some of it's just completely irrelevant. I will say the AI scrapers are just relatively new. I liken it to like Google in like 1998. Like they're just not very good at reading websites yet. So if they go to
Mhm.
your land on your page and see a bunch of JavaScript, they're going to run away and hide. They do not know what they're looking for, and it's going to move on to the next site. So certain things like structuring content information is like obviously that's universal. But when it
Mhm.
comes to actually what to write, that really is kind of the secret sauce of what ChatRank can do. So at a foundational level, we understand kind of you as a brand, what you're ranking for, what kind of prompts and ideas are people searching for to get to your brand, and also your competition, and see where you are in comparison to your competition, and then see what kind of content is actually leading to somebody winning or losing in a given prompt. And so the AI models will actually tell us that. They'll give us that information via sources and citations that they provide in their answers. And we then use that and then identify what does work for a certain prompt. So some prompts really love like list articles, best type 9 best CRM systems, and some
Mhm.
really require like user testimonials or case studies are really what drives the value in like the ranking inside of a certain prompt. Sometimes it's the educational page, sometimes it's the about us page on our website. It really kind
Right.
of depends. Our system will identify that for our brands and help them understand on a prompt by prompt level or topic by topic level what kind of content you should be focusing on to win in that exact prompt and topic. And so that really is the way to do it. AI loves specificity. They love kind of concrete answers. And that's the best thing you can do as a brand is to make sure you're kind of focusing on that.
Yeah. So basically, it's back to like don't put a load of fluff on your website, stuff that doesn't really have any depth to it, that just it sounds good at a very superficial level. What about how is user behavior changing? Because I mean it's definitely changing quickly, where people are starting to use AI more for search, starting to understand. But some people are still stuck in the old behaviors of like Google search, where they don't understand like real natural language. They don't understand going deeper with conversation. But can you tell me how is people's behavior changing?
I'll give you an example, and this is an N of one. It's just me, but this is how I think about like going to the internet now. So it's been like 10 plus years since I bought a new like work backpack. I needed a new laptop bag, a commuter bag, so I
Mhm.
can ride my bike to work. That's what I needed.
Mhm.
So traditionally, you have to go to Google or go to Wirecutter or one of these sites and try to find best commuter backpacks and like just trust that somebody else has done the homework. Or you do what I do. You go to ChatGPT and you say, I need to know about a 20 liters of storage. I want a laptop sleeve dedicated. I want it to be all black, no visible logos, weather resistant because I ride my bike to my office, like all that kind of stuff. Like just give me 3 examples. ChatGPT gave me 3 great examples. I looked through each one of them. I then took each one of those, went to their websites, watched a YouTube video on each one of them, and then ended up buying one of the 3. I love it. It's the best bag I've
Mhm.
ever bought. It's like
Right.
that is how I, as a I don't know, a millennial, came up, used AI and Google basically to then go buy directly from the brand. Now, did I buy through ChatGPT? No. Did I use ChatGPT to do my research and it wasn't my billboard for my end up like purchase? Absolutely. So the brands, they sometimes say, well, I'm doing UTM tracking. I'm not seeing that many like hits on my website, and my traffic isn't like really there from these AI models. Should I care? The answer is like, I mean, you don't have to, but like the way people are searching for information, it was so much more pleasant for me to use natural language, tell the AI exactly what to find me, and then go do my research with 3 highly curated answers and then end up choosing one. It saved me hours of time and stress, and it was great. My whole process took me under an hour, and it was perfect.
Yeah, I mean that's a great example, and I mean that's kind of how I use it a lot too as well. But I mean it's a great example, but because people, like I said, people are still because when AI, it's more like it's natural language, so it's more like a conversation, the kind of things that you would ask. You wouldn't go and ask somebody. You wouldn't say, "Hey, John, I'm looking for a laptop and this and that," and give like the kind of search string that you would put into Google. That's not what you would do, in a conversation with somebody else. And I think that's the transition people are understanding now, that it's more of a conversation. um and so obviously a challenge then is for those, for the brands to show up, is to keep, and all companies, is to keep refreshing the content, because that's the other difficult thing, is like content gets outdated so fast now.
Absolutely. So we always say like content is important. Keeping it up to date, relevant, modified is always really good. That's SEO 101 too. Like just
Mm.
making sure your content is up to date and positive is always the best thing. But also the one other thing to mention about that content is it up to date and current, but also is it what you're going after? So for example, if you're I mean the CRM world is a great example.
Mhm.
There are, the HubSpots and the Salesforces for just general CRMs. And there's very hyper specific CRMs for specific use cases. They might only have an audience of, I don't know, 200 total companies in the world that might use that CRM, but they're going after each one of those. So you can go after and try to like win in search on best CRMs, but you're just going to be competing against massive players who are just going to win
Mhm.
in that space. So own your category, own your niche. So if you are the best CRM for construction businesses, just own that prompt and own that. So your construction companies, like clients, will be coming in and asking for this specific feature or this specific thing. And so make sure you have content that caters to that exact question, that exact topic, the exact thing they're searching for anyway. So that way you're front and center in the consideration set. AI is recommending your brand every time somebody goes in and searches for that thing. Sort of like the long tail keywords in traditional search, but really in the AI world, it's so important to kind of hone in on that. Own your niche, own your categories with your content, and then use that as a way to parlay into the best CRMs. So then when somebody asks for the top 10 CRMs, to go, okay, well, here's like 1 through 8. And actually, if you're a construction company, here's number 9. You'd be surprised
Right.
how often the AI models will start filling you in there because you've now owned your number 1 ranking. You're like great for 10, 15, 20 high quality prompts in your area. Well, then they'll start throwing you in there. Great example, Just Reach Out. So this is exactly what we did with that. We compete against companies with massively larger marketing budgets than we have in our core, but we're always in there ranked in the top 5 for best media outreach tools, because we've owned the DIY, flexible month to month like subscriptions, a lower price point, verified emails. We just own the things that we know are
Mhm.
really important to our users. And so eventually, like when somebody's searching for that, it's always going to land on us. But then also when you go to look for the top media outreach platforms, like a Claude or ChatGPT is going to say, hey, like, and if you want a more affordable option, if you want a more flexible option, here's this one as like an option. We're always there front and center for that option. So really it is about owning your niche.
Yeah. What other, from some of your customers, without naming them, do you have any examples of companies that have worked with you, and what their previous state was, and what the results were afterwards, and how they achieved that?
Yeah, we work with tons of different types of companies, but I'll say there's a kind of like 2 general like ways we work with clients. Either I'm a brand new business and I'm too scared to try to like, the traditional SEO route, or like trying to really like pump out content that way. So I'm going to try to skip the Google route and go straight to AI because that's where my customers are anyway. That's
Mhm.
where I'm trying to rank from like go zero visibility to in the consideration set for my niche. That's one, and the other is okay. I'm in a very like competitive space. I'm right now, I'm like middle of the pack. I'm trying to grow to like number 2, number 3. I'm trying to like work my way up. Both those are great use cases. I can say when your brand trying to become visible, I always say that basically what I just told you before, being hyper specific in your niche. Why did you become a company? Why are you relevant? It's because you own
Mhm.
this little thing. Well, go own it. And so even if only 2 people per month search that term, you've owned it and you're getting those 2 customers guaranteed they're going to come to your land on your website. That's the most important thing. It's kind of building your way up from there and kind of starting where you own your niches and then kind of expanding out from there a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Now, when it comes to kind of being in a competitive space, that is much more targeted. So if you know that one of your competitors really focuses on X, our system will actually alert you, hey, they're really focusing their content over here. Would you like to like kind of respond to that? Or kind of here's what we would recommend to do to that. It kind of can tell you that you can type in your competitors and learn that that's what they're doing and react. Or you say, hey, I'm launching a new module. I'm launching a new part of my
Mhm.
like thing. I'm rebranding a part of our product like lines. Okay, well, I'm going to really hone in my content on that to make sure that I'm owning the customer that's looking for that piece. And so really is like I can say like we've had customers go from like 0 to 70% visibility with one really strong, high quality like blog post. And all of a sudden they're just
Right.
right there, ranked number 2 for their industry with again, like following our instructions for this one high quality piece of content. And we also have brands that are, really kind of like battling and grinding in with like tons of content to get them from like, that middle of the pack up to towards the top. And we see them, some of them, we have a customer that in their first month grew 30% in their rankings just by, in the visibility rankings, just by, again, owning their content, focusing on what they do really well. It's actually it was a dog training business, and not like B2B SaaS. It's like like dog training, but they just honed in on aggressive dogs, and every time somebody searches for aggressive dog training, they're front and center winning those products. It's a really kind of smart move.
Excellent. And, tell me, where do you see AI search going? What do you think the next evolution is going to be?
Very difficult to say. What I can say is, I mentioned like we started this process for us like last summer, about a year ago, when we went on this journey. And at the time, we're like, oh, we'll just kind of build some like AI visibility type tool for ourselves, and then we launched it into ChatRank and built it for everybody, not realizing that we're kind of slowly building something for all of search. So I was just listening to Sundar Pichai on Lex Friedman podcast a few weeks ago, and he was mentioning this like AI mode for Google is just going to keep kind of like staying separate. But every time they have enough customer feedback that it's like a good feature, that it's going to roll that into search. So they're going to slowly over time, feature by feature, move stuff from AI mode into traditional Google search until eventually Google search just is AI search. And so I'd say that like for us right now, I think the numbers are still like Google owns 97% of search. So Google's not going anywhere. But like as people like transition from wanting, keywords, asking in natural language and wanting to have a conversation with their search before getting an answer,
Mhm.
that is just becoming the norm. And so it's all going to be kind of moving towards that as like the immediate next step. So I think that's a no-brainer already. And so as a brand, you need to be kind of optimizing for when somebody asks a question, that one sentence, punchy snippet, so that your answer can be driven. Like you mentioned the fluffy language. AI hates fluffy language because that makes them do more work to
Yep.
translate that paragraph into a sentence. Like if you give them the sentence, they're much more likely to use that sentence. And so that's kind of what we see is just search in general is moving more towards the natural language, people asking things that they want to understand, and then getting answers more than just like, here's a list of 10 blue links.
Yeah. And then explain how ChatRank works.
Yeah. So like I said, ChatRank was built for us as a team that needed it. And so what we did is the core foundational step of where do you rank today? How is your visibility looking? Our system will understand your brand, your website, everything about you on the internet, kind of from the perspective of the AI search models, learn about your brand, say, okay, here's what we think your brand is. That's the first step. If we think your brand is like way off what you think it is, that's a problem. You should probably go to fix that with us. But that's like the first step is understanding that, recommending to you a set of topics and prompts you should track against based on volume, based on what you care about, based on the things that matter to your brand and what it's going to drive the needle for you. From there, the foundational step of, okay, where do you rank and what's your visibility there? And then your competitors. So that all is like the super important foundational step, but that is not all we do. We didn't just build a tracking and monitoring tool because that's actually not that relevant at
Right.
all. That information then feeds into our information engine. So tells you what kind of content to produce, what kind of things to do to your website, what kind of like optimizations you can make. And then again, as your competition comes in, okay, well, they did this, how are you going to respond? All those kinds of fun stuff happens automatically for you. So you can kind of use this almost in a game-like way to make sure that your content's staying ahead of the game, that your brand is staying ahead of the focus, and that you can make sure you're still increasing your traffic, increasing your sales. So again, we did not build a tracking and monitoring tool just because it takes a sexy space. We built this to grow your sales. And frankly, Just Reach Out is getting referral every week from Claude, GPT,
Mhm.
Perplexity, et cetera.
Yeah, and I guess that's the other. That's the other challenge that people have today is, I mean, there's a lot of different AI tools out there. So I mean, how does ChatRank help with that? Like, is it just for the main ones, or can you select other ones, or how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, so what we recommend, what we're telling our clients to do is works across the AI models, across the different LLMs. It doesn't really matter. I'd say that there are nuances to the models, don't get me wrong, but for most of our clients, it actually doesn't really matter that much. What really matters is kind of taking our advice in general. It's going to get you, 90, 95% of the way there. The one exception I'll say is Google, just because Google has those AI overviews. And because they still own 97% of search, like that is such valuable real estate. So we actually do have modules that point you directly towards, targeting those AI overviews with your content, make sure you are featured in those AI overviews, as well as the snippets. Those like kind of pullouts they
Mhm.
have where like they give you the answer before they even show you anything else. That snippet targeting is hyper relevant for a lot of our clients. And so we help them like optimize for those Google results. But other than that, like if you're thinking about Perplexity versus ChatGPT versus Claude, they're pretty similar enough that we can kind of, our recommendations work across the board.
Oh, perfect. Well, listen, thanks very much, John. This has been fascinating. All of John's information will be below this video. But before we go, please do tell people a little bit more about you and your companies.
Yeah. So again, we run Just Reach Out. So it's justreachout.io. That is a digital PR software, really kind of helping our brands outreach to the media, get themselves mentioned, get themselves in the press, podcasts, Substack, blogs, etc. Been around for a long time, really great business, kind of led us on this journey to ChatRank. Actually, PR is even more so relevant now in the world of AI, where again, those social proof is really even more important than the backlink that those articles give you. And then ChatRank is chatrank.ai. Again, that is helping you become more visible and brand aware in the AI models. We have kind of self-serve plans for that. So you can just log in, sign up, and just start running with it. We have done for you plans where our team of experts will help you craft the content, optimize your website, do all that fun stuff. That's also available. As well as we do kind of dabble in some custom projects. So if you have like a really meaty, messy project that you just like can't figure out yourself, our team is really great at doing that. Again, we're a little more selective on those projects just because of our team's time, but those are really, really fun for us. We love engaging those as well.
Excellent. Well, I would encourage you to go check them out. As I said, the links are below here. AI search only going to grow. And as you said, eventually it'll just all morph and become one search again, as these things tend to happen. So thanks again, Jon. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see you all again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.